Hello, Eric and Seneca. My name is Pat Stino, and I'm one of the construction managers here at Anthem. And today is Thursday, July 23rd, and we're in front of your house. We're going to be doing a virtual pre-drywall walkthrough today. And there's many things we're going to look at, but we'll talk a little bit more at the end. But we're getting ready to start here. So we're going to look at everything inside and outside your house today. We're going to go through some paperwork. We're going to look at all electrical, all low volt, make sure that all the options you've selected are in, and we'll go from there. So first of all, what I want to show you is that I have this checklist that I work off of. Your names, your address, today's date. We're going to be looking at and talking about grading and drainage, the gutter and downspout elevations, the window grids, electrical locations, low volt security, plumbing, mechanical. We'll briefly touch on change orders because we're too late to make any change orders, and then we'll touch on the projected schedule. So we're going to be going through these things, and then at the end of the video, you'll see that I've checked these things off, and you'll be able to view this. If you want a hard copy, just email Kyle, and he can get one over to you. But after we finish today, this will be uploaded before this coming weekend, and I encourage you to come out and walk your house this weekend, check things out, watch the video. If you have any questions, shoot Kyle a note. He'll get right with me, and we'll get back to you as quickly as possible. So with that said, the first thing I want to show you, and I believe you have a copy of this, but if not, ask Kyle. This is a copy of the plot plan, and what this is a binding document for us, and what this shows is the outline or the footprint of your house. Shows the footprint. This is developed by our third-party civil engineering firm. There's a little legend down here in the right-hand corner that will tell you what all of the things on here mean. But I'm just going to give you a brief synopsis. You're going to see these darker lines are your property lines. This is front corner, rear corner, and front corner out here. So this being your driveway out front. So the dark lines are property lines and property corners. Engineers work in tenths of feet. So for example, this is a dimension from this point to this point is 20.0 feet, 2.0 feet, 11 feet. All of these numbers, the decimal numbers, are elevations, and they are based on real elevation. For example, in the center here, you can see this is your address, 3416. It gives me a top of foundation elevation, a finished floor elevation. Your model number is a 3498. It's a 50-foot wide product, and it tells me we have a crawl space up in front here. These little stop sign figures tell me how many steps you will have to the finished floor. Now this is not revised, even though we've sent this plot plan out for revision. We do have it back, but I just happened to grab one of the old ones. Your front sidewalk is going to come down to the street sidewalk. We're not going to return it to the driveway as this one, the original, showed. And we do have it redrawn where the walk is going to come down. So there'll be a couple of one steps up the walk. Then when we get to the front porch, then there's one step into the house. This is 4 steps at the walk. In the back, there's 1 step down to the patio. So that's what that symbol means. In the garage, there's 5 steps up from the garage into the house. This elevation here, the finished floor, 14.1, what that represents is when you're sitting at your dining table, you are going to be 5,314.1 feet above sea level. I had to think about that for a minute. Excuse me, 5412. So you're going to be 5,414.1 feet above sea level. So that's where things are at. But there's arrows and percentage signs on here, and those are percentage of grade or slope that I need to achieve and maintain on your lot. Like I'm going to be sloping away from the foundation 10%, and then we flatten out a little bit to get to our swale, which is on property line. Our high point is in the rear yard, so all drainage from the backyard is going to come around on the west side, and then from the high point it'll come around to the front on the east side. And so this tells me percentages of grade that I need to achieve and then maintain. And this line with the arrows tell me what direction I need to take any surface water. So that's how this lot will grade. And we'll briefly look at that when we go around the house. So with that said, that's a little bit about your lot, and this is a very helpful document for you to plan on landscaping and talking with your contractor. So if you need a copy of this, like I said, just ask Kyle and he'll send one over to you, the revised one that shows the walk going to the city walk. So grading and drainage, gutters and downspouts and window grids. Now you have selected it's called a 3498 Colorado foothills elevation, and in the foothills elevation there are 2 vertical grids in all the front windows. So that's what you see. There are 2 vertical grids. Colorado Foothills also has the board and bat siding. We've got some beams, which we'll be installing. I've got the rough siding done. I'm in the process of going through rough inspections, and I should finish those by tomorrow, Friday. But I've had the municipalities out here already today, and we'll finish tomorrow. And I have third-party engineers to inspect. Then next week I'll be going to installation. Passing all these inspections, I'll be going to installation. So all of the soffits and all of that siding is still not installed because they need to see all of the connectors, all of the clips, all of the wiring to make sure everything passes inspection before I can close things up. That's why everything is still open. But basically everything you see that's still green plywood, those are mason. That will be covered with masonry. So and I'm about a week or so away from beginning starting the lath. I've got a few houses going across the street, and yours is next. So coming up next, and so in about a week we'll start that exterior lath and get the masonry coming and things like that. So we've got all the roof tile loaded on your roof, and we want that. We want the trusses to start to settle, and they will flex and deflect, and then they'll stay stable. So everywhere that you see green is masonry. I do have another corbel to install, which is in the garage, and we get wood beams up there. You'll see we like to get the masonry up first because it makes the mason's job a little bit easier. But you'll see everywhere that's green, we'll be getting stone. As we walk around the west side, I am going to be dropping the stone down a little lower than the green board. It'll be coming down, as you can see the gas meter here, at about this elevation. It'll come off the driveway, we'll step up after the corner, and then we'll take off, and it'll be a straight shot to the back of the house. But I am going to drop about a foot to 18 inches below the green plywood with the masonry. Got your main gas meter here. Just had everything's on gas test today, and we have those inspections today as well. I'm going to be paging through, so bear with me as I carry documents. I've got hard copies of your electrical schematic and your low volt schematic, and we're going to be looking at those areas specifically today. And so here I have your electrical mini, and which shows me the options that you've selected and where you want things. So here we are on this side of the garage right now. The gas meter is located right here. So this is about where we are here. You've got no exterior electrical options selected, except in the back patio, and we'll look at that when we get around there. So as we move down this side of the house, you see masonry steps down, comes underneath the windows, all the way back. This white pipe that you see sticking out of the wall, that is sump pump discharge. We've got low volt. This is the underground sleeving from the back pedestals for Xfinity, Comcast, whichever service provider. This is your low volt connections, which are coming from the panel inside. So there'll be a demarc or a station here that your provider will install and connect what's underground to the pedestal and what's in your house. This is your main service panel. We've got the main disconnect here, the main service panel and sub panel. In here will be your main shutoff for the meter housing. We'll have quite a few heavy breakers in here, but then in this sub panel here, this will carry all your 110s, all your circuitry for your outlets, your lights, things like that. So this is your electrical service location. As we move around the back of the house, you can see we've got patio here, and this window well here, and I want you to know that on both sides of the patio, these window wells, I will have metal grates installed on those, so you will have no fear of someone stepping off of your patio and going right down in the window well. there will be manufactured metal grates on both of those window wells. Got the rear hose bib. This is rear water. Take up air, that's fresh air going in. We step up onto the patio. One of the exterior electrical options that you've requested is a waterproof switched outlet in the ceiling. That's your waterproof outlet, and the switch is inside, and we'll look at that when we get back inside. We'll be looking at the switching location for that. But as we're standing here, you can see we've got 2 recessed cans. Also from the low volt standpoint, we've got 2 speaker locations in the patio cover. And those are as noted here in at your outdoor room. Okay. So as we move around to the south and east side, again 2 window wells. That one will have a metal cover on it. We've got a waterproof outlet. And here we are on the west side, fireplace vent. This copper pipe sticking out of the wall is the sprinkler tee, or the for the irrigation system, and the valve box and vacuum breaker, everything will be mounted right here. So this is the location of the lawn sprinklers. In this indentation is where we install all of the air conditioning equipment. So your condensing units will mount here. This is exhaust and fresh air intake for the HVAC system. But this is the location that the condensing units will be placed. And as we move it back around to the front porch, see we got the front hose bib located right here. Also, excuse me, I'm going to back up just for a second. You can see I've got a mark on the wall here. We have also installed a sump pit, and we'll be installing a sump pump in the crawl space. Now I already have that sump pit installed, and right here is where you're going to see another white pipe coming out for the sump discharge. So we got the front hose bib, and then here we are up around the front porch. On the front porch, see we've got masonry wrapping in both sides. There is a, I'm going to step up, there is a waterproof outlet here on the study side, and then we have recessed cans in the cover in the front porch. And I'm going to pause here, and then we'll start in the garage. Okay, here we are inside the 3-car garage, 3-car tandem garage. You can see as we're facing the garage door, got 2 single stall. The electrical wiring in all of our garages, we have outlets for garage door opener and low volt wiring for the sensors on the garage door opener. We got power outlets on every wall in the garage. One on the west, south, south center, and east. So we got power around. We also have lights behind the steel beam. And that's all the wiring in the garage. You'll see this piece of rebar sticking out of the concrete, and this is called a UFR ground, or a concrete encased electrode. And this is one of the means that we ground all of the wiring, ground your house with all of the wiring. There is a second means, and that is bonding the water pipe, which goes underground. But this is called a UFR, or our UFR ground. So second means of grounding for your electrical system. Got the gas pipe that'll all be encased, closed up. Everything that's green and house walls will all drywall. I don't believe, my memory serves me correctly, that you have chosen the finished garage. I don't recall reading that, but I'm just going to check that real quick. I did not see that option. So anything that's green, plus the ceiling, because they got living space above, that'll all drywall. And you never know what the drywallers are going to drywall. A lot of times we get more done than we anticipate. But minimally we get done everything that's structural, and firewalls, we get everything completed in the garage. Against living space and structural walls. So as we are moving toward the owner's entry, there's stairs up into the owner's entry. And right outside that door, you see 2 light switches here. and one is for the interior garage lights. The other is a three-way switch for the coach lights on the front of the garage. And the other side of that switch, or the three-way, is at the front entry. So you can turn the coach lights off here at the owner's entry or at the front entry. So as we come in the owner's entry, there's light switches right around the corner. And that's for the area lighting, the ceiling lighting. And as we move through the owner's entry here, we've got coat closet off to the right. This is staging area. Got three-way switch here to turn that light off behind yourself. We wire very logically. When you enter a space, there's a light switch to turn it on, and a light switch to turn on ahead of yourself. And then when you leave that space, you turn off behind yourself. So we turn that three-way switch on there as we enter the owner's entry. And as we move into the kitchen area, we can turn those lights off behind ourselves. Right around the corner, we've got under cabinet lighting to light ahead of you. Ceiling fan above. We've got all outlets per your request. Installed at 38.5 inches above floor. Horizontal mount. We've got an under cabinet light. And we've got a built-in micro location here at this secondary. We got the walk-in pantry back here. Inside, got a light switch, and you've also requested an additional 110 outlet in the pantry at 42 inches off the floor, and that is installed right here. These are all of the home runs coming from the house of wiring, which go out to the service panel outside that we looked at. So this is all the wiring. If you can, I would suggest that maybe if you have the opportunity, hang on to this video, because after you move in, you may want to know where something is. Make sure you don't puncture wires or a plumbing pipe. You can kind of gauge where things are, because you'll be seeing everything as we walk through the house. So we've got under cabinet lights. As we leave this space, we've got the switch to turn off behind ourselves. We also have, for the speakers in the outdoor room, we have the volume control location is right here for the speakers outside. Double doors, center meet doors for the patio. They're wonderful. Now these aren't adjusted. We come back at the end and they'll all be adjusted. All windows and doors get adjusted through our screen and service process. So here we are on the cooktop area. This is our main service area. We've got the range centered. We've got gas for the cooktop. We have power for the cooktop. This orange wire is for the exhaust hood. Exhaust hood will mount here. We've got a power outlet horizontally mounted on both sides. And these underneath here are for our under cabinet lights. So these whips are for under cabinet lights. Then we move into the butler's pantry area. We've got a three-way switch to turn lights on ahead of ourselves, and then we can turn it off when we leave. We've got the double oven cabinet here, and we've got cabinetry, uppers and lowers with an under cab light. And this is the location that I found out about late in the process, and I apologize for this communication, Eric, but I was not aware that we were putting an ice maker that needed a drain in this location. But after inspections today and tomorrow, the plumber is aware. We've written him a change. We're going to get that ice maker with drain in. We've already got the power in, and we got cabinets. So I've got two under cabinet lights here. As we walk into the wine room, door into the wine room, we've got a light switch above, and got a 110 outlet, which we normally don't put in, but I kind of like putting one in. You've asked it for, I had it over on this side. You requested it on the garage wall, where we've relocated that. So that's right there. So this is a glass enclosure, glass wall. Back out the wine room door. Here we are in the dining room. And we can turn the lights off behind ourselves in the butler pantry, and then dining light ahead of ourselves. Got service outlets around the room. No other electrical options in the dining room. We do have two speakers, low volt, on the low volt map. Bear with me while I page through it. In the dining room, we have two speakers, and timing fixture, all centered in line, and this looks like volume control location for the speakers, even though it does not. Oh, volume control at the switch, so that's why it's here. We've got the three-way switch to the dining light and the volume control above. Now we're going to move back around and through the kitchen area. So here we are standing at the kitchen sink area, which is centered on the eat-in dining area. So we've got sink, dishwasher, cabinetry, directly in line. Everything is centered with the cooktop and the hood. All lights, everything is centered. So you got a nice straight line with all lighting, and sink centers on the island. Everything is centered. We've also got it exactly centered at the door, so any floor covering, the lines will be correct on the floor. There are 3 pendants that come with this eat-in dining area, and that's these locations here. We take this span and we divide by 4 spaces, and that's exactly centered in how those space out. It'll look very nice. No other electrical options in this kitchen area. This is the refrigerator wall. We've got the refrigerator, freezer, cabinets, under cabinet lights, horizontal outlets. So we've got refrigerator and freezer with icebox, and a 3-way switch for the under cabinet lights. You can turn them on or off here or on the other side of the kitchen as you're traveling through. So in the ceiling of the kitchen, there are also speaker pre-wires. And those are located center on the door, centered on the center pendant. It shows them centered in that location. Volume control at the switch. And that's on the other side here, which I'll show you that volume control for those speakers. Right here is the volume control for, bear with me. Volume control at the switch. You've got 2 volume controls, 1 on each side of the door. 1 on each side of the door. So I believe this, I can't tell, and I'm sorry, you would know better than I because you did this mini. I can't tell if these are to control the outdoor room or if they're to control the kitchen. And this volume control is to control the great room or the kitchen. It doesn't tell me that. Which volume controls which speakers. My mini doesn't tell me that, but you probably know that, Eric. So here we are in the grand room. And we've got a switch here, and that's for the recessed cans in the grand room. I'm guessing this might be the volume control for the grand room because it's right next to the switches for the lights. In the grand room, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 recessed cans on a single switch. We have 2 4-inch mini recessed cans on either side of the fireplace in the recesses. Got speakers located in front of the fireplace. We've also got power at 75 inches per your request. And we have got a conduit down from the main CP location. And that port is called, CP, TP, the phone and data, cable, satellite, everything is here with conduit coming up to this location with pull string in it, so that you can pull any wires that you would need to make connections to something that you would place here. On either side of the fireplace, we also have, on this side, we have subwoofer location and power outlet. On the other side, as I mentioned, are all the CP, TP, and AP. We've got 5 speakers, in the grand room. Power outlets around the room. There's also a switch bank on this side of family room or grand room. And so this is on a 3-way to operate the recessed cans, the 4 recessed cans, the mini cans on either side of the fireplace. We have a ceiling fan pre-wire in the center And then we have a half-hot outlet across the room. What that means is that we've got a switched outlet, which is always across the room. So half of this outlet is switched and half is continually hot. So this basically manages the family room or the grand room. And we've got switches here as we move to exit the grand room. We can turn on the hall light ahead of ourselves. So as we get into the foyer, we've got power outlets at the stair. We've got the center chandelier, placed where we always do, centered in this space. We've got two switches here. One is a three-way switch for that chandelier, and the other is for the recessed entry can lights. So you can turn those on or off from that location. And that is on a three-way. At the front entry door, as you come in, there are three switches here. One is the three-way, as I mentioned earlier, for the coach lights on the front of the garage. The other is for the entry lights or all of the recessed cans on the front porch. And the third one is for these hall cans, or I call them travelers. As I'm traveling, I like light ahead of me. So as I'm traveling into this area, into the study area. So as we get, we've got the powder room. Inside the powder room, we've got a lav and a stool. There's two switches inside. One is for the light above the lav, and the other is for the fan. We have a light and fan in the powder room. As we move around and we go into the study, door will swing to the left. We've got two switches inside the study. One is for ceiling light pre-wire, which you requested, an option. The other is for, again, half-hot outlet across the room. We've got service outlets around the study on every wall. Also low volt pre-wire on the exterior wall. You have requested a T1 port, which is a phone and data port, and that's what this location is right here. Pretty much wraps up the study, the foyer. Okay, and as we're getting ready to leave the foyer, we'll go upstairs, and one of the options you've selected are step lights. Switch to turn the step lights on, and it's also on a three-way, is right here at the stair head. We'll go up the stairs, the stair lights. We put one at each landing and two divided equally in the stair run. As we get to the top of the stairs, we've got switches, and one will turn on or off the step lights. One will turn on or off the chandelier. And by the way, that chandelier, the stairway chandelier, I'd like you to take a good look at that this weekend. Make sure it's okay in the location that we put it standard. But if you'd like that adjusted a little bit, I've got some time, so just let Kyle know by Monday, if there's any movement you'd like to make in that. So we've got three-way on the step lights, three-way on the chandelier, and then we're turning some traveling lights on ahead of ourselves. All these recessed cans will go on with this switch. So we're going to go into the secondary bedrooms first, and then we'll move into the master suite. So let me turn my page on low volt and electric. So we've got stair lights coming up, and here we are in the entry. Furnishing area, outlets all around. You'll see them as we move into, this is going to be bedroom number 4. I want to call them correctly. So, four-way switch, what this means is this will turn on or off those hall lights ahead all the way down. It's on four-way, not just a three-way. So you can turn those lights on, turn them off here, then I'll point them out as we go down the other hallway. So as we're moving into bedroom number 4, as you come into the bedroom, there are two light switches right handily on your left-hand side, and one of those is to turn on the ceiling fan pre-wire, which you've selected, and the other is for the half-hot across the room. In this bedroom number 4, you've also asked for power at 66 inches, and on the low volt side, you've asked for that port, which is a CP port, and that's phone data cable satellite port. That's at that location. Power around the room. You've got a walk-in closet, switch with a recessed can inside the closet. Move into the bathroom. We've got a lav, a stool, and a tub shower. So we've got two switches. One is for the lights above the tub and above the mirror, and the other is for the fan. As we move down the hall, lights on or off. turn them on now. We've got linen storage right in the hallway. This is the location for the upstairs thermostat. This thermostat will control the upstairs. We can turn lights off behind ourselves again as we move, and we're going to enter into bedroom number 3. But on the left is the upstairs mechanical room, and this is where the furnace is located, which will handle everything on the upper floor, all of the sleeping areas. Everything on the top floor is handled through this air handler. The main floor and the basement are handled through the air handler in the basement, which I'll point out in just a little bit. So here we are now entering into the bedroom number 3. As we come in, there are 2 switches. One is for the requested ceiling fan pre-wire, and the other is for the half hot across the room. Service outlets around the room. Again, we've got low volt and power at 66 per your request, and that is another CP at 66. Okay. Got a walk-in closet backing up to or next alongside the other bedroom closet, and a light switch with a recess can inside. Then as we move into what we finally refer to as the Jack and Jill bathroom, we come in, there's a light switch. You can turn it on or off from either side. We've got 2 lamps, power on both sides, above each loud, and 2 lights above the mirrors. Above the mirror, behind me, is the tub, shower, and stool room. So there's 2 switches inside. One is for the fan, and the other is for the light above the tub. And now we're going to cheat through the Jack and Jill. Now we're in bedroom number 2. Again, as you enter, there are 2 switches. One is for the ceiling fan pre-wire you selected, and the other is for the half hot across the room. Again, low volt, same thing. At 66, we've got power and low volt on this adjoining bathroom wall for your request. Got a walk-in closet with light. We're going to move down the hall. So we've got this 4-way switch. All these hall cans can operate from any of these locations on or off. We're going to walk through the laundry room, take the shortcut to the master. As you come into the laundry room, you'll see that I've got washer, dryer, power outlets above countertop height, laundry sink, outlets above countertop height, washer, dryer, 220 for the dryer, 110 for the washer. 2 switches on both sides. You can turn, there's a fan and a light in here, and 2 recess cans and a fan, and you can turn them on or off from either entrance. Okay, we're going to come out to the master entry area. Okay, here we are entering the master suite. So as we enter the master suite, light switch on your left to turn on the traveling or the entryway recess cans. We've got walk-in closets on the right-hand side. And as you walk into the closet, there's a light for the recess cans. There are 3 recess cans in the ceiling. We've got power outlets all around the room. You've also requested, if I remember correctly, an additional outlet in the walk-in closet, and that is this one here, located here. That's our additional outlet. Also in this plan, this is where we locate the attic access. So this box framed out here is the attic access, and there's access to the attic, and in there, if they pop that lid, and this will be explained to you at the new homeowner orientation, there's a light switch, a pull chain light, and there's a power outlet. Also, there is a vapor pipe, and it's marked vapor, and you'll see that as you, we'll talk a little bit more about that in a bit, but there's a white vapor pipe going up through the roof. So the attic access is in this closet area in this plan. So then as we exit the closet area, enter into the master bedroom. As we come around, there are 4 light switches here in the master bedroom. You've requested one of those switches is for ceiling light pre-wires centered on the window on either side of the bed. Power outlets on either side of the bed and behind. Power outlets around the room. So I've got also, we've got a ceiling fan pre-wire in the center of the coffer. So I've got light switches as we come in. We'll be turning off lights in the hallway behind ourselves. We can turn on the ceiling fan. We can turn on the half hot outlet, and we can turn on or off the ceiling light pre-wires above the bed. In this sitting area here, you've requested power at 72 inches, also low volt location at 72, and that port is the a CP port at 72. You've requested these at 72. We have power low, power high, and power around the room. As we move into the master bathroom area, as you enter the master bathroom, there are stacked switches in here. I'll tell you about those in a moment, but off on your left is the master stool room. Inside the stool room, there's a light and a fan, so 2 switches. Here we are at the master shower, this 8-foot monstrous shower. We've got dual shower heads centered. You've got a mud set pan. Now I know, Kirk, that the plumber had mistakenly put in a handheld, and we've removed that. And you can see I've got writing on here. Once we get through inspections, the plumber will be removing this elbow. We'll have one solid hot water line coming up to the shower head. Shower heads are placed at 84 inches to make sure that we are well, I'm kind of a tall guy. You can see that these are going to be above my head. So 84 inches is our high height. So things will work well for someone that needs that height. So the switches in this room, I've got 2 stacks. I've got cans in the shower, cans outside. We have got cans over the freestanding tub, and then we have outlets over the vanities, over the 2 vanities. So we've got 2 vanity lights, 2 vanities, power on each side. So those lights switch separately. Recessed cans in the shower, recessed cans in the main room. And then we have a fan as well. So that's all of the switching in this area. Vanity lights, we've got fan, tub can, shower cans, and travelers. Okay, takes care of the master bathroom. Now we're going to walk downstairs, and we're just going to keep rolling as we walk downstairs. We'll walk down to the basement. So we're coming down. We can turn lights off behind ourselves again. Again, we can turn the step lights on or the chandelier on as we're coming down the stairs. And we can turn both of those off right here at the base of the stairs. So now we're entering the basement area. Right inside there's a light switch, and we have recessed cans. Or here, you're going to have LED lights, one under this stair landing and one at the other stair landing at the bottom. So those will be 6-inch LED lights. So we get to the bottom of the stairs, 2 switches. One is to turn off lights behind yourself, the other is to turn lights on ahead of yourself. So here we are in your unfinished basement. And this is the main mechanical area. And when you decide to finish this all boxes in here next to the crawl space. This is the light in the crawl space. And we have got a sump pump located in there. We've got a heat supply in there. We'll be cleaning that out and grading it and putting fresh plastic plus insulation on all the walls. All of those things will happen inside of there in the next 60, 90 days. So this is our basement. I am going to be drywalling this whole area. We have, and I don't know why this happened, Kirk, and I apologize. From the time it went in and the time you saw it was 0 time. So when I saw it, I couldn't believe it either that they put it here. So we have relocated the low volt panel, and we put it in the inside service room, which I'll show you in a moment. This is the wire for the low volt, which will be relocated probably tonight yet. That's the power for the low volt panel. Service outlet. As we move around here, on your lot, because of the crawl space, This is the location that we needed to bring the water service into the building. We call this the water tree. So this is the main water line coming in from the street. And then we have what's called a booster pump. And that's to give you more than adequate pressure, water pressure in your house. A valve system, which will isolate certain areas. This one here, for example, is the irrigation for the sprinkler. And there's also a bleeder valve on that so you can drain it down in the winter or in the late fall. This is our main water line. We've got power for the booster pump. Also, we've got the low volt panel located here. And power will be coming into that low volt panel. This will all drywall completely. There's a light switch and the light inside of here, but this will drywall closed completely on all of the wood surfaces. We'll have insulation on the concrete surfaces, but on the wood surfaces there will be drywall. So in the basement, nothing really much to look at except in the mechanical area. This is, like I mentioned, the air handler for the basement and the main floor. We got a main sewer clean out over there off to the right, and that's a place for a roto-rooter. That's a good clean out location. We got a floor drain, Studer vent. I failed to point out up in the laundry room, but we put in a laundry pan in every second floor laundry room, and we run a drain pipe all the way down to this floor drain. This is the laundry drain right here coming down from the second floor. And we have condensate lines from the furnace and blow off from the water heater. Those are into the drain system. 50-gallon hot water heater, another 3-inch service line with clean out. This is the anti-scald device, which goes up and feeds the master tub. And this is adjustable for the level of hot water. We're required to put in an anti-scald device on that. We got a rough-in basement. This would be a stool, if a bathroom would get framed in here. We've got stool and lav roughed in. This is the secondary sump pit, which I pointed to the white pipe outside on the west side. This is where we will have a sump pump installed. And they're pretty much maintenance free, but something to check once a year. Power for that sump pump. And then this is the vapor pipe. I had mentioned it to you when we were up on the second floor. We install a complete interior perimeter drain system underneath the concrete floor in the basement. And that is sloped to drain in this area. As I mentioned, we also put a sump pump or sump pit in the crawl space so that any moisture that may collect in that area will go into that sump pit and it will eject outside. So we run in a complete interior perimeter drain system, and that is all sloped to drain to this sump pit. It also ties to the city's storm system. So the sumps are just a backup system. Anything that would fill up, whether percolate up through the ground or moisture atmospherically, that we get down to that drain system would go to the storm drain first and then into the sump, into the interior drain, into the sump locations. And then on top of that interior drain system, we install a vent pipe, and that's what the vapor pipe is. This is sitting down on top of the underground drain. And that is a perforated drain that will collect any water either percolating up or coming down from the surface. And also any vapor, moisture, anything that would percolate or seep up through the ground will go through that vent or into that drain pipe as well. So we put a vent pipe on top of that drain, which is a perforation, and anything that comes up through the ground will automatically or just naturally vent upward, up all the way up through the roof. Now, if you would choose to mechanically ventilate any vapors that come up through the ground, that would need to go in the attic. Thus, we've supplied power supply in the attic, and this vapor pipe goes all the way up through the attic, through the roof. That's where a mitigation fan would need to be located. You can't install that in the basement, but you can in the attic space. And that's why this vapor pipe goes all the way up through the roof. That's pretty much it in the basement. And I don't have anything further. So we're gonna pause the video and then we're gonna go outside and recap, and I'll talk to you soon. Okay, so here we are at the end. And what I wanted to do is point out the areas that I told you we would look at today. We looked at the grading and the drainage, and you'll see the downspout location. I'm sorry I may not have pointed those out, but you'll see because I have the gutters already installed, and they're the same as every other 3498 plan, those locations. The elevation is a Colorado foothills, and the window grids, we talked about those two verticals. The electrical locations, we looked at all electric options and standards. Plumbing, we looked at that. Mechanical, we talked about. Change order, I've circled that because we're too late to make any changes from now forward. Everything has been ordered and is on its way. And then our projected schedule. Now I have listed 2 items here that I wanted to point out to you. Number one is that I'm going to be installing an ice maker line and drain in the Butler pantry, which we looked at over there. Now keep in mind, in the cabinet next to the ice maker is where that drain's going to be. That's the only way that happens. So, and that is a base cabinet with a drawer above next to the ice maker, so that'll work just fine. So that drain pipe will be in the rear of the cabinet next to the ice maker. Okay. The other item I've written down here is I'm going to replace that master shower supply line to the shower head. We're going to cut that. We're going to take that pipe off, and it'll just be a straight shot up to that shower head. If there's anything else, Kirk or Seneca, Eric or Seneca, anything else that you see or you'd like me to adjust or talk about, please contact Kyle over the weekend or as soon as you can, and we'll address those issues without any problems. So without further ado, that ends our video today. And today being Thursday, I will be insulating on Tuesday. That's Tuesday the 28th, and I'm stocking drywall on Wednesday the 29th. So then we're on the downhill run. Our schedule, that's the last thing that we're going to touch on. And I'm about 100 days out, plus or minus. I'm really trying, very diligently to work through this difficult time of the coronavirus, where I have to space my contractors individually. I can't have more than one contractor or trade in a house at a time. So it's stretched the schedule just a skosh, but I'm really striving is the best way that I can term it. I'm trying to bring your house in the end of October. It might bleed into the first part of November. But Kyle will be in touch with you. Every Monday we have status meetings, and I'll be giving Kyle updates every Monday morning where things are at, what's happening in the upcoming week. So come out and visit on the weekends, not during the week, but please come on the weekends. And you need any updates or information, Kyle's got fresh information every Monday about what's been completed previous week and what's coming up ahead. So stay in touch, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Thank you.